You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. The Super Bowl is over, and the football hangover begins. 1 month, 2 months, 3. We'll make it. I'm Spitface. Please welcome our host, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith.
Good morning. Yeah, the football season is over, but the NFL is not over because we got free agency, then we got the draft. So, it's 365 days NFL. Just always remember that. What we always say, the NFL is king.
And First Lady, but I've been looking at some of the baseball numbers. Baseball is doing well, but that's a different story. This week on Shout Out, we have performances from Joe Blind. Will he find his shining star? He blind. We'll get the cold feel of the mute button. First Lady, we're ready. What you saying?
Each week, we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the Kansas City Chiefs wish they could fly far, far, far away from a Super Bowl beatdown Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles defense brought out a can of whoop-ass and proceeded to almost make the game look like a men playing with boys. Did the Chiefs buy into their own hype? Jalen won the Super Bowl MVP, and will this put to rest his naysayers? Should Kelsey swiftly ride into the sunset and retire? Will the Chiefs still be the team to beat, at least in the AFC, in the 2025 season? Can we pencil the Eagles in for the next Super Bowl? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Spitface, the Chiefs were my team. That was a epic beatdown. I mean, at no point in the game did I think the Chiefs had a chance to win, with the exception of the opening kickoff. Because after that, it basically was over. I mean, from the time the Chiefs offense, their first touch of the ball, Mahomes could do absolutely nothing offensively. I mean, they just couldn't do anything. So did the Chiefs buy into their own hype? I believe they did, and particularly Coach Andy Reid, because I put most of this blame on Coach Andy Reid, because he had his worst game. He did not make any adjustments to protect Mahomes. For example, I think he could have utilized some screens. He could have done play action or running the ball. He only ran the ball 3 times. I mean, he basically was running the same schemes. Patrick in the shotgun, throwing the ball down the field. I mean, at what point was he convinced that these plays were not working? I mean, it should have been when they were down. I think they were down 17-0. That's when he should have noticed that. And definitely when it was 24-0 at halftime, and, they still didn't change anything from their first possession in the third quarter. It was just unbelievable. I mean, that to me was the most shocking thing about that entire Super Bowl, was the lack of adjustment that Andy Reid has made, and he's an offensive guru. So I don't know what was going on with Andy Reid. I really don't. I just couldn't believe it. It definitely was Mahomes' worst game, but the play calling by Andy Reid was horrible. I just think by the time they did develop some chemistry offensively, it was garbage time. In basketball, we call it garbage time. Well, the times that the Chiefs scored, it was garbage time, because the Eagles basically, they were celebrating. Okay, so that's how they scored those points, those 22 points. It was garbage time. the Chiefs were never in this game, never in the game whatsoever. So, after this bad performance, am I surprised Travis Kelce is considering retirement? No, I am not surprised. He's 35 years old. He's in his 12th season. I mean, he just recently spoke to the press, and he said a lot. It sounded like he was on the side of retirement. He indicated that he's played a lot of games with the Chiefs because, the Chiefs always every year go further in the playoffs. So he said he plays about 3 to 4 more games per year than most players, and all those games start adding up. And, Kelce's contract is through to the 2025 season. Now, he could play next season, and he will be an unrestricted free agent in 2026. I think, from my understanding, I didn't really check, but I believe so. If they release him, it would be better for them financially. But, they're not going to do that. They won't do that to Travis Kelce. He will have to leave on his own accord, and I know they won't do it. So, I think his option, if he wants to come back, is to play out the contract. Like I said, the Chiefs, though, should not re-sign him to another contract. The Chiefs said, let him play out this contract and move on, because he has lost his step. He has slowed down considerably, and it's time to move on. I mean, he's a good locker man, but, you need young blood in there now. Y'all need to get younger. You do have Worthy, but you need to get some more tight ends. You need to get a younger tight end. And, of course, they need to fix that offensive line. To be honest with you, I can't believe we're in this situation again, because if you remember when they played the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl, that offensive line was horrible. I thought they fixed the offensive line, so maybe they lost a lot of players through free agency, whatever. They didn't draft well, but they need to draft and get some offensive liners. They have to secure that offensive line, because, it was ridiculous. Actually, the Super Bowl against the Eagles this time was worse than the one against Tampa, and he was running for his life against Tampa. He didn't even get a chance to run for his life against the Eagles. They dragged him down immediately. He had so many sacks, it was ridiculous. So yeah, but I think it's time for Travis to retire. He can be a Swiftie for life, okay? As far as the Eagles, yeah, you should pencil them in as the NFC Super Bowl participant. This team is built to win because their defense is stellar. Their defense comprises of very young players. Their average age, Spitface, is 25.5 years old, and they're on reasonable contracts. Now, they do have 18 free agents this year. And the notable ones they have that's going to be free agent are several on defense. Linebacker Zach Bond and defensive tackle Milton Williams and edge rusher Josh Sweat is his name. So, those are very integral part of their defense. So I'm quite sure Howie Rosen will do something. He's a very good VP. Football general manager, or whatever his position is. He's very good. He's kept his team he's kept them very relevant for several years now. He's made some bad mistakes, but he's also made some darn good acquisitions. He basically drafted all of Alabama. No, not Alabama. I think it's Georgia. Georgia. Bulldogs. Yeah, the Bulldogs. He got a lot of Bulldogs on his team, so he knows how to draft. And so I look for him to either re-sign some of the people. Zach Bonding definitely should re-sign, and Milton. I think they need to sign all three of them. They may not be able to, but they definitely need to. With that being said, I still have to say that Jalen Hurts, definitely, he shut up his naysayers. Definitely shut them up, because you know what? He's the only quarterback that has outplayed Patrick Mahomes twice in a playoff setting. Think about that. Even though they lost that Super Bowl the first time they met, he still outplayed Patrick. So, I mean, and this time, he thoroughly outplayed Patrick. So he done it twice in a playoff setting. Now, Brady obviously outplayed him one time in the Super Bowl. Burrow outplayed him in the conference championship. But Burrow has also won 2 other regular season wins against Patrick Mahomes. But Hurts has outplayed him all the time in the Super Bowl. And that's very significant. That says a lot about Jalen Hurts. He's not flashy, but he's a winner. And when you're running a team, that's what you want. You want somebody who could win, who can put you in position to win. He doesn't have to make the big flashy plays like everybody said. His arm is not like Patrick Mahomes, but he got a good arm because he sure did pass that ball to Devontae Smith. Caught them Chiefs by surprise on that one. So he does what he needs to do to win the game, and that's what it's all about. He was a winner in college, and now he's a winner in pros. So Jalen Hurts is definitely a top 5 quarterback. When they talk about Patrick Jackson, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, they need to mention Jalen Hurts, most definitely. All right, Spitface, what you saying about this?
I would take Hurts over Josh. I would take him over Josh in a heartbeat. And First Lady, there was something that you mentioned about being a winner. Somewhere, and I can't honestly say how this is going down through fandom, but it seems like the commentators associated with it's always but he's that but part and a winner. What but is there to winner? You know, the man a winner. He does what it takes to win, and there's no requirement that you have to be fancy about it. And I think that's the thing. The commentators are looking at the pretty plays or the split moves, or like a Lamar Jackson. They're looking at that, and the bottom line is win me. Lamar has MVPs. He ain't won or been to the big game. As you said, here Jalen Hurts is 2 Super Bowl performances where he outplayed Patrick Mahomes. That ain't no accident. And the Philadelphia organization, I tell you, to me, other than the Chiefs aside, they're starting to look like the organization you want to steal for your team. Can we get their organization over here? Because they got it together. Ownership, management, coaches, they got it together. And that's a scary thing. Scary. And I look at the competition, just not just from that standpoint, but that's the critical part. Who you bringing in, what players you can keep, how that structure is. Detroit got it going on finally. And where are they at? They compete. They there. Miraculously, the Commanders got their organization together. The Commanders. And so it's going to be tough for the Eagles next season to make it back. So I can't pencil them in, but I'm tapping the paper. I'm tapping the paper, okay. But I can't quite pencil because anything could happen in the NFL. Now, First Lady, for a moment, I thought I was going to have to call the New Orleans police and report an assault and battery going on. The Eagles got a can of whoop ass. I started to look, I was like, man, this started to actually look bad, and then it did, like that. Because, there's that expectation that I've seen those comebacks, the big historic comebacks down. I'm like, okay, yeah, they're going to make that halftime adjustment. And then 2 minutes into the halftime, you was like, oh, there is no adjustment, because they was continuing to get that ass whooped. So, in some ways, it does seem like KC bought into the hype, and it starts from the top. I hate to say it, starts from the top. I don't really hate to say it, but it starts from the top. That's just because I like Andy Reid. And, Andy Reid might have to cut down on the Bundle-Rooski commercials. Maybe the coach is super. Now he's superstar, the quarter. And maybe it's just a little. You need a little bit of humility again. So I can't blame that. Like I get a little big headed myself. So bless his little heart. But maybe cut back on the Bundle-Rooski and the donuts, Andy. And the O-line, First Lady, the O-line is always the under the radar moves. Like you were saying, hey, they rebuild, they add people on, and in that big moment, you see how good they really are, and they crumbled. Now, can't say if it was a matter of them letting people go or they move, but it really was probably all of that. So Andy know what he got to do. He got to get some, because the other teams, they look at them, they go, ooh, this is how you beat them. Now, can we do it? Can we execute it? We'll see on the field, but this is how you beat them. So the Chiefs going to have to, Mahomes was starting to look like C.J. Stroud. Running around with no offensive line. He was getting sacked, So they got to work on that. But I will say this. The Chiefs will not be in the Super Bowl next year. Too early prediction. So that's all I got to say, personally.
Okay, so you don't have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl next year, and they just been doing too many commercials. I know every time you turn on your channel, all you see is Coach Reed and Patrick Mahomes. He does them all state commercials. They run them to death. All right. Well, anyway, I don't know. I'm not saying. I don't know if anybody can be. I don't know. I'm not saying the Chiefs cannot still make it to the Super Bowl, because those other teams still have to show that they can beat them. And I'm penciling in the Eagles. I'm penciling the Eagles because I don't see. I know you said there's a lot of good teams, the Lions and what? Yeah, because Lions defense, they crumbled last year because of the injuries. But that defense for the Eagles, and they're going to come back with a different swag, and they're going to want to do a repeat. They're going to probably try to do a three-peat if they can win a two-peat. But anyway, now I'm penciling the Eagles in. But anyway, it's going to be quite interesting what happens. But anyway, Spitface, over to you.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my fears and putting circles of fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering over the competition. I'm tired. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out, huh? Mama said knock you out, huh? We are talking about the knockout punch to Dallas Mavericks fans. from the trade of Luka to the Lakers, the Mavs received Anthony Street Clothes Davis in the trade, who immediately got injured. Does this deal make any kind of sense? Mark Cuban gave up ownership because he felt that fresh blood and thinking was needed at the helm. Is this the kind of fresh thinking Mark was looking at? Dallas Mavericks fans are totally upset. Will they get over it anytime soon? Leroy Satchel Page, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell are asking, what you saying? First Lady, there are trades that have you scratch your head. And then there are trades that, as a fan, you just beat your head against the wall. And, you know, this trade, the Dallas Mavericks, I just had to look at this. The Dallas Mavericks traded a player who, if I'm correct, is like 25, 26 years old and is a generational player who many would have easily said it would follow the mold of, let's say, a Dirk Nowitzki and maybe win them a championship. So, but you got that generational talent so you got that, and Luka wasn't complaining. So you trade your generational talent for a seasoned veteran who on his own hasn't demonstrated that he's a generational talent, while there's talent, whole bunch of talent, superstar talent. But take your team to the championship talent, wasn't doing that with the team that he was on. So, I heard a commentary from Mark Cuban, and it was before he, turned the keys over, where he said something to the effect of, no matter what happens, we ain't never trade Luke. And so I'm sure Mark Cuban, as a fan, as someone who's got a dollar interest in the team, not the way it was, but he still got a cut. It's like, check the liquor cabinet and see if they were empty, when they made that decision. Because, I can't even call it a fleecing by L.A. because, nobody, everybody knew what they were getting. Everybody knew what they were getting out the deal. And it's like, L.A. they needed to make that deal. That deal guarantees that when LeBron finally hangs up his shoes, you got a generational talent to build for for the current generation, and now you can add pieces. I'm just bewildered, befuddled, and First Lady, what you say? Is there a championship in the Mavs future from this trade?
Well, the irony of the Luka Anthony Davis trade was Luka's conditioning and his propensity to being injured with calf issues because of his conditioning. Well, Anthony Davis always has been an accident waiting to happen also. He's always injured. This is why Charles Barkley nicknamed him Street Clothes. However, he did ball that game before he was hurt. And actually, I really felt the Mavs were at fault for that injury because I just thought the way they were playing AD, it was, to me, a mismanagement. He was injured with he became injured with a little over 2 minutes left in the third quarter because I actually was watching that game. And he played like 30 minutes out of the standard 36 minutes. For, the quarters are 12 12 minutes, and he played 30 minutes out of 36 minutes. That's too much time. That's too much playing time for someone who is playing their first game after injuring their abdominal strain, and he had last played January 28th. So I really thought they should have done much better with his time restriction. You know, that was one time that they needed to monitor, and they didn't. And now look at, he's going to be out at least a month. So, I mean, it really makes you question the trade. And, Mark Cuban owned the Cavs, and he really didn't want to trade Luka because, he found out that they were trading Luka, but it was too late. Now, I disagree with the producers because the reason why Mark Cuban sold his majority stake, he basically said he felt the NBA ownership was trending to an alliance with real estate development, in particular casinos. So he was not really interested or fond of this paradigm shift. So that's the reason why he felt it was a need for him to sell the team. He did not want to put his children in that situation. But, because you have to understand, Cuban felt that it was difficult to generate revenue from just owning a team. And that's what the Lakers do. The Lakers are family-owned operations, the Buss family. Their main revenue that they own is from the Lakers. Unlike most of these NBA owners, they made their billions from other revenues, not from their team. Their team, the team is like a little toy for them, whereas the Lakers, that team is the way they make money. So that is why it was so important for the Lakers to take that Luka deal. It was, that was a no-brainer for them because they knew, like you said, that this is what, to replace LeBron, and they had an attraction, and it was going to bring good revenue through marketing and everything else that Luka can bring. But I just think, Cuban really didn't expect for them to trade. And when he found out about it, it was a little bit too late because he tried to get them to cancel it, but it was too late. And this was the main reason why this trade was done quietly, with very limited individuals knowing about the trade, because ownership didn't want fans to get wind of it because they were going to be in an uproar. And if they heard whispers of this trade, it was going to be very difficult for them to trade Luka at that point in time. So that's why they did it. I just think, the Mavs, to me, the trade, as bad as it seems, is not a bad trade if AD can stay healthy. Because, the Mavs did the trade because they want to win now. And AD could get them to win now. He was dominating when he played, but the problem is he's just always injury prone. And the owner of the Mavs, it's Patrick Dumont. His mother actually is the family person in charge, but he is the governor. And, he wished Luka well. But I have to read his statement because his statement to me tells you everything how they feel. And I'm just going to read it. He said, quote, "In my mind, the way teams win is by focus, by having the right character, by having the right culture, and having the right dedication to work as hard as possible to create a championship winning outcome. And if you're not doing that, you're going to lose." So, to me, that statement directly is basically related, a correlation to how they felt about Luka's commitment. They felt that Luka was not committed to doing the things that needed to be done in order to be a championship. So, in regards to the fans, they'll get over it. These trades, maybe not these significant trades where two superstars are traded, but superstars have been traded. Look, I'm a New York Knicks fan. They traded Patrick Ewing. He was at the end of his career. And they also traded Walt Frazier, the beloved Walt Frazier. I mean, I know he was at the end of the trade. I mean, I know very seldom is a young player traded within their prime. I understand that. Right now, I've been racking my brain to think of a young player that was traded within their prime. I couldn't think of anybody, but Jabbar. Oh, that's right, Kareem. And I think, Kareem was traded. He was traded. Yeah, he left Milwaukee in his prime. But, but he wanted to leave Milwaukee. There actually a story had came out about who was the general manager? It was the black guy. He used to be in charge of the Cavs. I can't think of his name right now. It'll come to me later. But he promised Kareem, at the beginning of the season, Kareem asked to be traded. He promised Kareem if he could play the season out, he would trade him. And they won the championship. And he got traded after they won. Milwaukee won the championship. And that's when he got traded. But, Kareem didn't do it Jimmy Butler. He quietly played and balled out. And the owner lived up to his word to trade him. So, yeah, you're right. That's the only player I could think that was. I'm quite sure Wilt Chamberlain might have been traded in his prime, too. But, in modern day, I can't think of anybody. But great players are traded. And once you're a fan, you're always going to be a fan. They're upset, but the true Maverick fans will remain. So, I mean, it's going to be, they'll be upset. They'll be stewing for a long time. But trust me, if you're a fan, you'll come back and you'll be with the Mavs. You'll root for the Mavs again. So, they just got to get over it. There's nothing they can do about it. It's a done deal. That's it. Look, they can't be rescinded like that that Williams trade was, like the Charlotte Hornets, and then actually the Charlotte Hornets are appealing the rescindment of appealing the fact that the Lakers rescinded that trade. So that should be interesting. But anyway, that's all I'm saying. You're a fan, you'll get over it.
All right, First Lady. You say you're a fan, you'll get over it. And on that, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, we have a performance from Joe Blind on Shout Out Part 1.
The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Joe Blind.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. On the first part of the shout out, we are featuring the music of the Joe Blind out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, from his hit self-titled album, Joe Blind. They say Joe Blind is not new to the game. All right, he's not new to the game. All right, so let's hear his first track, his hit album, Pretty as You. All right, DJ, let's play that, Pretty as You.
I wanted and more. Big house by the shore, nice car and a lot of cash. I could buy all the clothes in the store, and I make women drip like raindrops. Let me tell you about something that I ain't got. That's you, baby. I can't forget about you, babe. Ask me if I love you, do you love me? I do, babe. Ain't no love in the club on a Tuesday. Quit looking for a man like that, cause he ain't gonna ask you for your hand like that. His only plan is to get up in pants like that. That's what happens when you dance like that. When you wake up in the morning, is he still with you? Hell no, I'm just trying to keep it real with you. Find a baller in the club throwing hundreds. Are you in love with someone or in love with his money? Soon as he go broke, she gon' ride her, she go running. A real woman stay a fake woman, she don't want him. That's just how it goes. Most of the time they fake like reality shows, but but I got one that I can't let go of. Shut the place down whenever she does show up, cause there's no one that's as pretty as you. Penthouse great view, it ain't as pretty as you. Yeah, my whip brand new, it ain't as pretty as you. Nighttime in the city ain't as pretty as you, girl. Pretty as you. Penthouse great view, it ain't as pretty as you. Yeah, my whip brand new, it ain't as pretty as you. Nighttime in the city ain't as pretty as you. She always starts blushing when I brag on her. She always starts cussing when I rag on her. Say she hate it when I blow a lot of cash on her. Secretly she love it when I swag on her. I come home every night and throw a bag on her. And she laugh when I walk away and dab on her. I buy her new clothes every weekend. Nobody else gets that treatment. I just wanna show you I appreciate you, and I don't need to thank you. You can already see the way I look you in your eyes directly. She told me all I ever wanted was a guy to respect me. Baby girl, you ain't even gotta try to be sexy. I think it's in your jeans. I always find it funny when you can't fit in your jeans, cause then you get offended and you take it to extremes. She got the temper of a Spanish chick, ass like a black woman, wild like a white girl. How she get attached to me? I'm addicted cause that pussy like crack to me. She do this thing when she recite my tracks back to me. It actually doesn't sound that bad to me. Now quit playing my lady and bring that ass to me. Say you got a man, but so what? I can wait for you cause there's no one that's as pretty as you. Penthouse great view, it ain't as pretty as you. Yeah, my whip brand new, it ain't as pretty as you. Nighttime in the city ain't as pretty as you, girl. Pretty as you. Penthouse great view, it ain't as pretty as you. Yeah, my whip brand new, it ain't as pretty as you. Nighttime in the city ain't as pretty as you, girl. Pretty as you, girl. Pretty as you, girl. Penthouse great view, it ain't as pretty as you. Pretty as you. Nighttime in the city ain't as pretty as you, girl. Pretty as you, girl. Pretty as you, girl.
Okay, that was Joe Blind. I kind of wasn't expecting that. I don't know what type of music I was expecting, but that was a hip hop genre, more similar to kind of like a Drake type of song. And I'm going to shout it out though. I thought it was pretty good. I'm shouting him out. Like I said, it reminded me of Drake a little bit. You know, what do we say? Singing in that A minor. Yeah, I got to talk about that a little later, but, kind of singing in that offbeat tone a little bit. So, yeah, I'll shout it out. Spitface, what do you going to shout the song out, or are you going to hit the mute button?
I'm shouting it out, but I do kind of have a question because I was, I might have to play it again because there was a particular lyric where, he said that she said she got a man, but he laying all this bread on her and buying all this. Well, I'm going to wait just a minute. See that pretty, brother? She got another man and you laying all that back. Oh, but you did say I was, a trading Smith. So, maybe it's a hey. So I'm shouting it out. I'm shouting it out.
Well, okay. I'll tell you something. Yes. All right. So on part 2 of Shout Out, we'll be featuring another performance from Mr. Joe Blind. Is that the sound of our favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
Take on the thunder and lightning. No one you see is smarter than you. And we know living a world of wonder, lying there under the sea.
Time for Flip It, where our hosts defend a point and then flip a script and defend the opposing view. The Jets have announced they are parting ways with Aaron Rodgers. is this a good or bad move for an organization with no other real quarterback? Defend. Aaron can still play at a high level, but sometimes you need a clean start. It's a good move. I'm looking at the ex-bad man, because there was a time he was the bad man. And now others have, the old gunslinger. Others have gotten a little quicker on the draw, and they win in Super Bowls. And when the Jets brought Aaron Rodgers in, the assumption was that the Jets as a team were a quarterback, not just a quarterback, a decent quarterback away from making noise in the playoffs because their defense was that good and they had offensive weapons that if they just had a quarterback that could just get, that could manage the darn game and move down the field, that, that they would be contenders instead of pretenders. Well, the fickle finger of fate came in and Rodgers got hurt. And they didn't have a real plan, again, for a quarterback that could fill the void. And they not only, so he, the next season came around, Aaron got hurt again, and even though it wasn't like his first season, it was enough. And it just uncovered the fact that, no, the Jets are not that they were pretenders. So, it's, bite the bullet early. Just bite the bullet, get it over with, pay that money out, and let the new coach, start out fresh. That, none of that, was there thinking, blah, blah, hey man, look, here your money. It was a great run, go find another team. Maybe, somebody. So, it was a good move that you gotta, a clean house sometimes. And that might include, cause I ain't knocking Aaron, he may not be the bad man, but he's a bad man. He's a bad man. First Lady defend. Good move getting rid of the bad man.
Well, Aaron Rodgers can play at a high level. I mean, that's debatable. He damn sure didn't play at a high level last year. That's why the Jets are parting ways with him. In addition, come on, they hired a new coach, Aaron Glenn. And he already indicated there's only room for one Aaron on this team because he needs to set a new culture for the Jets, and that's him. So we can't have two Aarons. And, the Jets acquiesced too much to Aaron Rodgers, which set a bad culture and basically made it very difficult for the other coaches, That's the reason why it was a problem. It was so chaotic on that team. Aaron made that team his team with them attaining they got the offensive coordinator, the wide receivers, Adam, and I forgot the other. He got another wide receiver too, and I forgot who that was. But, unfortunately, it was not a good look, and they didn't perform well. And New Yorkers don't want to see another version of that Jets again. So the Jets needed to clean. It was a very, very good move to get rid of that bad man because that bad man literally was bad.
The bad man was bad. Okay. Well, let's flip it and defend. Aaron Rodgers still has something in the tank, and the Jets have no real prospects at quarterback. Bad move letting him go, and costly. First Lady, the bad man and the moves made by Jets management were pretty much hard. They really were. And there's something you mentioned that they acquiesced way too much for Aaron Rodgers instead of looking at, look, this is what we have to do for the team. And Aaron is under contract. He's going to work with it. He's a professional. And they just have no the backup quarterback who I've been thinking, I can't recall his name at the moment, but they've been waiting for him to mature for the last, 5 years? And he's proven that he's, I can't even say a capable backup. Not really, and I think he's just lucky to be on the Jets and get a check, So and they made no moves to upgrade that backup position. So now, what do they have? Okay, the draft. Okay, all right. So, are they going to draft high enough where they can really get a top quarterback in the first round? Maybe not. It looks more like not. So they're going to have to do a reach, and they just don't need a reach right now. And what they needed was to admit that Aaron Rodgers is going to be our game manager while we put some pieces around so that we can draft us a quarterback. And basically, once again, they set themselves up for failure. And Aaron, thank goodness you got thick skin, because it's going to take you a couple of years to build that team right. But if management gives him some space, like management gave the coach of the Detroit Lions some space, you got a shot at getting that team together and truly being competitive. But right now, and you had to pay the money. First Lady, defend bad move.
Yeah, it's a bad move, because the problem for the Jets, if they get rid of Rodgers, who's going to be their quarterback? Now, they have the 7th pick in the draft, but unfortunately, the Browns, the Giants, and the Raiders are in front. So all of them need a quarterback, depending on if the Browns want to bring back, what's his name again? Deshaun Watson, which I consider, well, they invested so much money in him, they're going to have to probably bring him back, but they could put him as second string. So they all need quarterbacks. And there's only really 2 top quarterbacks available. That's Cam Moore and Shedeur Sanders. So with the uncertainty of the draft and the ability to move up, do you want to rely on your backup, your Tyrod Taylor? Now, Tyrod Taylor was a decent quarterback years ago, but is he your right quarterback? And then Jordan Travis, that's your third-string quarterback. I don't know who Jordan Travis is. Never heard of him. So, I mean, who do you have? So it just makes more sense for you to keep Aaron Rodgers. Now, he can become a good quarterback again, because last year, you remember, he was playing off of his torn Achilles. He should be 100% and sure of his legs, because I think that was some of the problems for Aaron. I don't think he may not really admit it, but I don't think Aaron was able to plant the self, because he's a pocket passer, and to be a pocket passer, you have to have strong legs. And I just don't think he was really sure about his legs, and concerned about the Achilles tear. Coming off that Achilles tear, I don't expect him to be right then and there. So give him one more year. I mean, I know it's going to be uncomfortable, but I just think the Jets need to give him one more year. And like you said, the money is astronomical. They have a $49 million dead cap hit for Aaron Rodgers. $49 million dead cap hit. Money that you can't lose. $49 million. You can't go against that's against your cap. So who are you going to sign? You know that? It's $49 million. That's a lot of money. So keep the bad man. I mean, to be honest with Jets fans, you have no choice. You got to keep the bad man. Keep him.
All right, First Lady. Bad move. We shall see. But First Lady, over to you for more liquor.
Kendrick Lamar was the star of the halftime show. Did he find his shining star or the mute button? All right, Spitface depends. Those under 40 loved him. Over 40 hated him, which means the mute button.
Yeah, First Lady, I'm over 40, so. But I won't say I hated him. But I didn't, I'll just say that when you're performing for the halftime show, you're putting together a show where from the teeny boppers to the older people, they're entertained. Now, sometimes it's like when they have a country artist, a top country star. Everybody ain't in the country, but the way the show is put together, you're still entertained. Now, you may not run out and go by that country artist, their album, or anything like that. But for that show, for what they were up to, it's like, oh, okay, that's all right. But, you might catch your foot a little bit, but you were entertained. Now, when I'll just say when the halftime show gears more toward a particular age group, like I love Steely Dan, but Steely Dan, the young folks they ain't into Steely Dan. So you got to move that down. But that don't mean you kick us to the curb in the process. But also, I was just kind of looking at it, and I was trying to think. I said, okay, well, this is the new generation. This is music change. Adults hated rock and roll. They should be blues or R&B or way back in the 50s, 60s. Things like jazz, and each generation has their own music, and the performers geared toward that audience, and that's just how it is. But I was thinking performance-wise. I said, okay, I think I'm just looking at some of the old guys. MCL. Now MCL would have put on a show. He would have put on a show that I'll say the older folks at that time, they would have found it entertaining. They would have found it entertaining. So I don't know if Lamar, he did his thing, but, maybe, in the dancer, obviously, but, maybe, not so much him, but how they put the show together. And then I thought about Heavy D. The other way, Loving House. He had to move. The other way Lover, got you moving the group. And then my boys over at Naughty by Nature with the OPP. For some reason, I just think that their show would have been a little bit live and more interesting. But, I think it failed the broad mix part, the bringing in the broad. If you kind of just get your own group, rather have Beyonce. First, that's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, unfortunately, Kendrick, your performance must woo all the fans. Yeah, but Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest rapper lyricists of all time. Most of his songs are symbolic and have meanings of different issues within the world. However, at the Super Bowl, people don't have time to figure out what your words mean. Furthermore, what your stage prop symbolizes. You got 15 minutes to perform, and most people just like to be entertained. They don't have time determining what you're saying, what all the symbolism means. That's just not how people view a halftime show. And recently, listening to some of the people who are in the stadium, they actually have the worst view of the halftime show, believe it. They don't get to see the entire stage prop. Like, for example, at the end of the It was like a Squid Game, and it was the game within the game. And at the end, it said game over. A lot of people who were in the stadium didn't even see the game over because just the way the halftime is set up. So therefore, you have to have a halftime show that you have dancers. You don't have people lying down trying to be the American flag. You have dancers. And you singing. Usually singing is the best type of halftime show. And, people under 40, because they love Kendrick Lamar. But it just was just too much going on that stage. A lot of people didn't even know that was Serena. Then when Serena was doing the Crip Walk, you think people over 40 know what the heck the Crip Walk is? No, I don't think so. So Jay-Z is, I believe, is in charge of the halftime show. He's on the committee who's responsible for the halftime show. I know this is his second time using rappers. The first time it went over well because you had rappers that people can vibe to. You had Snoop Dogg. You had 50 Cent. Even actually Kendrick Lamar performed when it was in L.A. Kendrick Lamar actually performed. I thought his performance that time was, to me, the best performance of all the rappers, but he had a different situation. He wasn't trying to be symbolic, basically. He was just performing. But this was his opportunity to perform. And most people, if you're over 40, you didn't know anything about the diss records about Drake and anything. So, it was just too much involved, and people just don't want to see all that. They just can't sit there and try to figure out, because to be honest with you, I had to go on the internet to figure out what he was doing. But anyway, I knew about the Drake situation. So, that was the only thing that I liked, the way he teased the song. But anyway, yeah, Jay-Z, you need to stick to musical artists, not rappers. All right, we're going to flip it. The Super Bowl halftime show is designed to be contemporary and draw a younger audience. His performance was a success. Shining star, Spitface defense.
First Lady, when I look at the realities of the Super Bowl halftime show, when the show starts, unless it's the entertainer that I like, I'm going to get pizza and chicken wings. Some beer out there. The halftime, if it's an artist that I particularly like, then I try to rush and get the chicken wings and the pizza slices and the nachos and stuff, because we munching during that halftime break. Not that we haven't been munching, but that's the time where everybody running to the bathroom. So the Kendrick's halftime show was a success because what the NFL wants to do is draw in younger audience. They want that continuation of audience. And they know that we fans who are been around over 40, been fans for over 40 years, we ain't going nowhere. They don't have to particularly they don't need a halftime performance to keep us as fans of the game, to be involved. We done bought the merchandise. We done bought the merchandise for our kids. And some of us done bought the NFL merchandise for our grandkids. So they got us, Now, not that they have to disregard us, but, there was a point where they realized that Dolly Parton, as sweet as she is, don't need her for no Super Bowl. You don't need that audience. You got that audience. That audience is cool. So Kendrick did a great job. The audience that he needed to bring in, he did. And that's them young folks, and more power to them. All right.
You say they don't need no Dolly Parton. Okay, yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, they do need to appeal to a younger audience. The show was brilliant to me. I love the way Kendrick Lamar teased the hit song "Not Like Us." because obviously if you didn't know, you probably know now, there was so much controversy regarding that song because of the statements he made about Drake. And, he teased it, the NFL told him not to sing the song. He was only supposed to put the beat to the music. He actually sung the song and just took out one word out of the song. And it was really funny how the whole audience, when he got to the part A minor, everybody said it in the audience. And Samuel Jackson was fabulous as the MC. I thought using him to frame the performance was very masterful. And guess what, Spitface? The audience have spoken. The statistic came out. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance had 133.5 million viewers, drawing the largest halftime, performance of people viewing it. And it was more people viewing his halftime performance than the actual Super Bowl itself. That's saying something. So Jay-Z, that's what you want. You want people to view your product. And that halftime show, people viewed it. And I know the reason why people viewed it, because of the controversy, whether or not he was going to sing that song. And that was the draw for people coming to watch it. And people came to watch it. I mean, that's interesting. It was more than the Super Bowl itself. But, hey, he did what he had to do. And say what you want to say. It was good. It was good. I mean, I went back to watch it more and more. And after me watching it more and more and more, I kind of fell in love with it. So, but that's usually not how you have to do a Super Bowl halftime performance. But all right, Spitface, please take us to break.
On the other side of the break, we have another performance from Joe Black on Shout Out Part 2. Please keep your ears glued to those speakers.
Welcome back. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
All righty. On the second part of shout out, we are featuring more music from Joe Blank. Let's hear the title track, Multiple Piece, featuring Legacy. Not the title track, it's not the, but hey, Multiple Piece featuring Legacy. DJ, let's hit.
Broken in multiple pieces, love like a grown-up and mean it. So sick and tired of being broken in multiple pieces. Yeah, I'm broken in multiple pieces. Why can't you love like a grown-up and mean it? 'Cause I'm so sick and tired of being broken in multiple pieces.
Hey, it goes, I am so afraid to say goodbye, 'cause I am all about the vibes. Feel it inside if it ain't right. And tonight, yeah, I'm getting high. Won't stress no more about my life. I know that we gon' be alright. Hey. Oh, what a time to be alive. I gotta keep this peace of mind. You see it right here on my side. I need to let go of my pride. It gets the best of me sometimes. Some women beg to be my bride. I never let them deep inside. That's why I'm sexually deprived. It didn't work, oh well, I tried. It never does, that's no surprise. They break your heart and then you die. I cry inside because I'm
broken in multiple pieces. Love like a grown-up and mean it. So sick and tired of being broken in multiple pieces. Yeah, I'm broken in
butts in the ashtray. Good guys finish in last place. You couldn't even meet me halfway, now I'm broken. I got caught up in emotions. Now we going through the motions, trying to figure out your motives, hey. I thought you were perfect, never thought you'd hurt me. I was almost certain that you'd always be my person. Guess I was mistaken. For your information, my friend said that you was crazy and I underestimated. Now I hate you. Wish that I could take back the affection that I gave you. It meant nothing. Remember when we was fucking coming at the same time, simultaneous combustion, I was frontin'. You was evil and I mean that. Not a thing is gonna change that. When I think of you, I hate that. Hey, now I'm tryna get the wave back. I'ma find where the babe's at. I'ma forget you like ASAP.
Broken in multiple pieces. Love like a grown up and mean it. So sick and tired of being broken in multiple pieces. Yeah, I'm broken in multiple pieces. Why can't you love like a grown up and mean it? 'Cause I'm so sick and tired of being broken in multiple pieces.
First Lady, what's the verdict? Is multiple piece getting a shout out of the mute button?
I'm going to shout it out. I like the first track better than this one, but he slowed it down a little bit, yeah, he tried to be like like Drake a little bit, but I'm still gonna shout it out.
Well, I'm giving it a shout out. That is the end of shout out. You can check out Joe Blind on the Old Grumpy Radio Network. If you would like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to talent@oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, over to you.
All right. It's time to determine who is the NFL Super Bowl pigskin champion. All right. So it was close between you and me, Spitface, coming down to the end. DizzieMac was in the minus category in the last week. So based off of our scores, actually DizzieMac won the Super Bowl questions the picks for last week. He had 500 million points. Spitface, you had 0. And I had a whopping negative 2,000 million points.
Wow.
Well, I had no shot. I chose the Chiefs and I chose Patrick Mahomes as the winners. So that's what happened when I did that. That just took me completely out of the competition. So basically, Spitface, you are the grand prize champion. You're the champ. You have over 2,073 million points. I came in second with 423 million because I had 2,400. I'm down to 423 million. And DizzieMac was in the negative, but he came back out to 283 million points. So congratulations, Spitface. You are the champ. Did you win last year?
All right. Say what?
Didn't you win last year? Who won last year? I don't remember who won last year.
I'm not sure. I thought you'd be playing.
I have to see if you repeat, but we'll figure it out.
Three P.
Yeah, listen, Look, Pat Riley didn't make any money off of the three-piece. He stuck for that long. You know he was rooting for the Chiefs.
Breaks my heart.
All right, let's move on. All right, eventually we'll be moving into the basketball season picks. All right, Spitface, what is your top story to watch this week?
It's not a new story, but it's a touching story. So, and what it is for me, my top story to watch, I just like to watch this story over and over again. And what it is, it's about a Eagles fan, 102 years old. Now, the Eagles ain't been around 102 years, but she's been a fan since they came into the league. So at 102, Eagles fan Eloise Brown, it has got to be, like one of the bedrock fans. But what got me was that the Philadelphia Eagles paid for her to go to the Super Bowl. And all her accommodations, they said, Eloise at 102 years old is rooting for us. No, we got to have her at the game. So shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles for doing a sweet thing for, and First Lady, Eloise still got some play in her. They were showing her she was moving. She wasn't like with a cane, barely stepping. She was moving around. She had some young folks jumping. So I go Eloise, get them.
Okay, that's a nice story. Okay, that's a nice story. All right, well, my top story to watch this week definitely is the NBA All-Star game, which is going on this weekend. Is going to be the new format with these teams. I don't know how this is going to play out, but Adam Silver is determined to make the NBA All-Star Weekend great again. Sound like somebody I know, right? Let's get it great again, because it's been rather disappointing because of these new age players that don't feel that they need to compete at the NBA All-Star. So we're trying all these different remedies, and we'll see how it works. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. I just want to give a shout out to Asia Wilson. She's been killing it. She got a big time richest sponsorship contract from Clark last year. Then she signed a astronomical sneaker deal with Jordan, and I think it's Jordan Brand, and she was inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was the Hall of Fame. So I really have to shout it out to her that she's been really killing it. And, of course, I don't know when she's ever going to say that she's dating Bam Adebayo. I don't know why they seem to be hiding their relationship, even though everybody is everywhere with them together all the time. But I'm glad she was inducted into the WNBA Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Asia Wilson. She's an empowering young woman for all young women out there. All right, check out our current and previous episodes at BrasPantiesSports.com. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports.